When deceased people appear in our dreams, it can evoke a wide range of emotions. Some rejoice at the reunion with their deceased loved ones, while others are upset and even cry upon awakening. If the dream recurs several times, we begin to believe there's a reason. Perhaps the deceased wants to tell us something, or is ill in the afterlife and needs prayer. Let's take a closer look at why we often dream of the deceased, and what we can do to distract ourselves from thoughts of them in waking life. If you constantly dream of the dead, pay attention to who they are. Omens say that strangers appear in our dreams to warn us of grave losses. Relatives and friends appear to protect us from minor troubles that we are generally capable of handling on our own. The appearance of a distant ancestor indicates that we need to be more proactive in supporting our family. Most likely, the deceased has decided to remind us of our duty and purpose. When a living and healthy person dreams of being dead, it's a good sign. A wedding or the birth of a child may soon take place in your family. When the opposite happens, a dead person dreams of being alive, sad or tragic events are likely to occur. If a recently deceased person visits you in a dream, don't worry. In the old days, it was believed that the deceased was asking to be remembered. Go to church, light a candle for the repose of the soul, and order a prayer service or memorial service. You can give treats to the poor, such as cookies or candy. If you dream of a deceased person frequently, for example every day, it's advisable to go to the cemetery and visit the grave, say a prayer over it, and sprinkle it with holy water. Most importantly, don't be afraid or think negative thoughts. In ancient times, the deceased were seen as patrons of the family, protectors. Our ancestors believed that they wished no harm on anyone. On the contrary, they come to warn us of troubles so that we may be safe. According to omens, you should also pay attention to the deceased's appearance and what they say to you. If they look sickly or emaciated, expect bad things. If they look the same as they did in life, and there are no signs of decay, there's nothing to worry about. It's recommended to remember or write down any warnings or advice the deceased gives you. They can be quite beneficial. The Bulgarian clairvoyant Vanga believed that anyone who dreamed of a dead person should expect unfavorable changes in their life. If the deceased was ill in the dreamer would face deception, slander, and intrigue. Perhaps ill wishers would plot against them. Gustav Miller's dream book states that dreaming of a deceased person indicates caution and vigilance in reality. Such a dream can serve as a warning of deception and envy. If a person who was once your friend or relative appears to you, don't waste money or engage in dubious financial ventures. A deceased mother, according to Miller, signifies illness in the family. A father signifies problems at work. If you happen to see a deceased person in good health and good spirits, with a smile on their face, beware of your friends. In reality, they are not your friends at all and are trying to ruin your life. Nostradamus believed that we dream of the dead at crucial moments, when our fate is being decided. For women, this could mean imminent marriage. For men, a career offer or travel. If a deceased person gives you something in a dream, you'll receive a pleasant gift. If, conversely, you give them something, you'll have to part with some things in your life. Dead people rising from the grave appear to us to warn us of the illness of loved ones. According to David Loff, dreaming of a deceased person doesn't foretell any troubles. Most likely, you're simply in a difficult situation and don't know how to get out of it. Or you're thinking about the deceased very often. Some dream books interpret a meeting with a deceased person in the same way as the death card in a tarot reading. It is seen as a warning of change, the beginning of a new stage. Perhaps outlived feelings or unrealized plans are preventing you from looking to the future with hope. But reality has changed. It's no longer the same, and you'll have to accept that. However, if you don't want it to be, nothing terrible will happen. Death doesn't promise any shocks or disasters. You can dwell in illusions if that's more convenient, and decide on changes when you have the inner strength. In the East, it's believed that the dead appear to us when we have health problems, so it's advisable to undergo a medical examination and pay attention to your bodily sensations. To summarize, even if a dream book predicts something negative, don't take it too seriously. You've probably already noticed that different people interpret the same image differently. Some associate it with a wedding, while others associate it with illness or deception. Therefore, it's best to consult mystical literature only out of curiosity and not draw far-reaching conclusions from it. Dream interpretation has been studied not only by esotericists, but also by psychologists. The Austrian psychiatrist Sigmund Freud was the first to do so. He believed that each of us unconsciously associates the theme of death with something forbidden and dangerous. Therefore, dreams about dead people are meant to warn us of the threats lurking behind the facade of our seemingly prosperous lives. Perhaps we sense that someone wishes us harm, or we are unsure of the stability of our family happiness. In any case, we need to understand what is causing our anxiety and be cautious. Not everyone relies solely on psychoanalysis when interpreting dreams. The reason for persistent dreams of dead people can also be understood from other theories. This may be due to a feeling of guilt towards the deceased, anxiety about his afterlife, or uncertainty that he will be well in the next world, unresolved contradictions between you and the person who appears to you in a dream, grievances, quarrels, misunderstandings, fear of dying oneself or losing someone close to one. Each of these issues is very real and serious, so it's best to work through them with a professional. Of course, you can try to figure out what's keeping you from letting go of the deceased on your own, but a psychologist will see your situation from a different perspective and offer some insights that might prove helpful. Seeing a dead person in a dream is unpleasant and sometimes frightening. Haunting us, the image of a deceased person can not only cause nightmares, but also ruin our mood in reality. Here are some recommendations on what to do if you can't get rid of recurring dreams. Don't dwell on their stories in your head. The more you immerse yourself in your own fantasies, the more they influence your real life. Therefore, it's best to follow this folk advice. Wash your face. Say, "Where the water goes, so goes the dream," and try to forget what's bothering you. Don't get carried away with mysticism and esotericism. Don't look for bad signs everywhere and constantly expect trouble. We dream about many things simply because we think about them too often. By inertia, the brain continues to perform its usual work even when it's at rest. See a psychologist. It's quite possible that you have important thoughts or experiences related to the deceased and you need to share them with someone. Perhaps you're still reeling from the funeral or worried that you haven't had time to apologize. It's best to discuss these issues out loud. Practice good sleep hygiene. Sometimes disturbing dreams occur when we're experiencing physical discomfort. So, make yourself a comfortable bed in a room with thick curtains. Buy soft-touch pajamas and good bedding. Also, avoid using your phone at night. It's better to relax and think about something pleasant. Take up meditation. It helps you learn to direct your thoughts where you need them. It can help you not only overcome fears and obsessions, but also get rid of the mental rumination that causes unpleasant dream images. What do priests advise to do if you frequently dream of a dead person? Religion does not recognize omens and superstitions. However, if the deceased frequently appears to you, it is best to order a memorial service in their memory, a requiem, a litany, or a prayer service. This way you can help their soul navigate the trials of the afterlife and find peace. Is it necessary to go to a psychologist? No, it's not necessary, but it makes it easier to cope with the loss and cope with your condition. We repress many thoughts and feelings into the unconscious, so they return to us as nightmares, visions, and fantasies. If you speak them out loud, you can gradually get rid of them. However, this won't happen in 1 or 2 sessions. It will take at least a month of work. How to distract yourself from an unpleasant dream after waking up. Take a shower, do some light exercise, and do something that requires focus. Finish a report, pay bills, or reply to a business email. It might be a good idea to go for a run and then have a piece of dark chocolate. Your body will produce natural endorphins and overcome the depression itself. If you constantly dream about dead people, the best thing to do is schedule a psychological consultation. This could be due to a variety of reasons: fear of death, unpleasant childhood memories of funerals, or even an overindulgence in horror films. A specialist can help you understand the cause in more detail. Also, try not to attach too much importance to omens, especially bad ones. There's no evidence that they work.